Well, thanks for watching. Your feature presentation will start in a moment.
But first, a quick reminder.
Subscribe to our full podcast.
Wherever you get yours.
Wherever you get yours sounds weirdly saucy.
Okay, it's our box office top 10. Hurrah for that, which surprisingly is starting at number 10. This is slightly disconcerting because that's the second time recently we've actually started at number 10. At number 10, Teschovia 3.
Yeah, Teschovia 3, which is a Polish comedy, wasn't press screened or FDA listed. So if anyone's seen it, please do write in and let us know.
Freakier Friday is at number 9, number 10 in America and Canada.
Yeah, 7th week in the in the chart. So it has done really well, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm very pleased about that.
And number 8 in the UK, The Sound of Music, 60th anniversary. Here's a great email from Christine Armstrong. Dear Maria and Captain, it has always been my favourite film. For my daughter's 9th birthday, a sing-along version was showing at the Prince Charles Theatre in London. And instead of a birthday party, I took my daughter and 3 friends to see the film in some costumes that I'd made. We went up to central London on the train, and as we approached the station, a man sitting nearby asked me if we were going to see The Sound of Music and introduced himself as the projectionist. So he knew what was coming. He invited us to see the projection room before the film. I seemed to enjoy that far more than the girls. During the intermission, there was a costume parade on the stage. So imagine this. Christine Armstrong says, my girls won, beating several nuns, some bees, a baroness, and a mountain. Truly magical memories. Imagine thinking, I'm going to go to The Sound of Music and I'm going to wear a costume and I'm going to go as a mountain.
That's genius.
Extraordinary. Anyway, thanks for all the years of fun. And AVLTL. A very long-term listener and now grey-haired feminist. Christine, thank you. I wish I'd gone to that. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, honestly. But the Prince Charles have been selling out Sound of Music sing-alongs for ages and ages. And what a wonderful institution that Prince Charles are, and what a wonderful institution Sound of Music is. And I would remind you that we had a letter years and years ago from a listener who had gone to see The Sound of Music when they were a child, and they thought that the intermission was the end of the film. So they thought it was a film that ends with the Nazis invading, and that was the end of the film. It was only years later they discovered that there was a whole other half.
You have a better memory than me. What role do the bees have in The Sound of Music?
Yeah, the bees is that was kind of evading me. Does somebody get?
I get the baroness. I get the nuns. I get the mountain. Obviously,
no. I off
you
the
could
top
have gone as a goat turd.
Everyone is shouting at everyone is shouting at the screen, telling us. Incidentally, Teschovia in-laws. It means in-laws. I just looked it up.
Oh right, okay. Anyway, if anyone can explain the bees in The Sound of Music, that would be fun. Number 7 in the UK, number 12 in America and Canada is Bad Guys 2.
Yeah, 9th week, big animated sequel hit, same as the first one, but a little bit more.
Number 6, Here and There, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. Someone called Full-Time Meow on YouTube. Genuinely enjoyed the movie throughout. I loved it. It's an incredibly well-made film, and Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell are both phenomenal. It made me smile and cry, and Joe Hisayashi's music made it even more whimsical and touching. This movie definitely touched my heart. It felt like warm-hearted therapy. Everyone, please don't ignore or disrespect the feelings of those who truly enjoy and love this movie. Oscar Wheeler. Big Bold Beautiful Journey is technically a perfectly fine film. It made me feel something even if it wasn't a lot. However, seeing as it's from Kogonada, this is the disappointment of the year for me. Yeah. I think After Yang is excellent, and Columbus is one of my all-time favourite films, and with him having not written this film, it becomes very clear that his skill for crafting naturalistic dialogue is a skill almost nobody has on that level, besides a very select few like Charlotte Wells.
Yeah, so just to answer the first email, of course I'm not disrespecting people enjoying it. As I said when I reviewed it, I said some people like it, some people will absolutely hate it, because some people will find that it doesn't work. So I was disappointed by it, firstly because, as the second emailer said, in terms of Kogonada's filmography, this isn't up to snuff. But you've got to admire what the scale of its ambition. The problem is that the central fantastical conceit never feels natural enough and never relaxed into it to be engulfed in it in the way that I was, for example, in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I did say also, though, if you think the film keeps feeling like it's about to burst into dance, then do stay to the end, because that does have a payoff to that thread. But I think it looks amazing, and I admire the ambition, but it didn't work for me. But I'm glad that it has worked for somebody else. And of course, I wouldn't disrespect that. That's fine. If you enjoy a film, that's a good thing, because, paying to see a film in a cinema and having a good experience, particularly in the current climate, is a very good thing.
Philip Raby says, in your recent review of A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey starring Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, you didn't mention the age gap between Farrell and Robbie, which, among other things, adds to the implausibility of the story. Farrell is 49, Robbie is 35. So a 14-year-old age gap. Now, he goes on, Philip, but I don't think 14 years is worth commenting on. But anyway, not quite as grotesque as Colin Firth and Emily Blunt in Arthur Newman, 23-year gap, let alone Firth and Emma Stone in Magic in the Moonlight, 28 years. Robert Redford was not immune to this discrepancy, 24 years older than Kristen Scott Thomas in The Horse Whisperer. I could go on. Clint Eastwood, Rene Russo in The Line of Fire, 24 years. And the most extreme, Sean Connery, Catherine Zeta-Jones in Entrapment, 39 years. Apart from Hal Ashby's 1971 film The Reverse is Rarer Than Hen's Teeth, I suggest we create a new GAG category, GAG, to describe A, the gender age gap, and B, the correct response to this insidious form of sexism. Philip, you have some, it's a fair point. Obviously, historically, that turns out to be true. I'm not sure that a 40, I think, look, my parents were 10 years, my dad was 10 years older than my mother. So I'm not sure that 14 is worthy of comment, really. But what do you say?
Well, I'm younger than the good lady Professor Her indoors. In a world in which the whole idea of casting very old male stars against very young female stars, this did not seem like it was worthy of comment in this film, because it just didn't feel like a significant gap.
Number 5 is The Roses,
which I still haven't seen because I went to see Demon Slayer instead. So I was catching up from the week that we were away, and I thought I'm going to go for Demon Slayer, which we'll get to.
Craig in Glasgow on The Long Walk, which is number 5 in Canada and number 4 here. Dear Mark and Simon, sorry this is a long one, but bear with me. I saw The Long Walk before hearing Mark's review, and afterwards I was struck by something you often say, that cinema is shaped by what we bring to it. 3 years ago, I moved from Edinburgh to Glasgow. It's been one of the best decisions I've made, but it also meant putting distance between me and my best friend of 32 years. During that time, he went through an unimaginable stretch of loss, including 3 close family members. Always upbeat, I could see he was struggling beneath the surface. Last week, he stayed with me for 3 days, and I'm thrilled to say he seemed like himself again. The pain hasn't gone, but he's refusing to let it define him. We spent the time talking, laughing, and appreciating every second together, which brings me to The Long Walk. Many reviews focus on its bleakness. And yes, it's grim and graphic, a reminder of how easy totalitarianism can take hold. But I found it deeply beautiful. It's a story about friendship, love, and life itself. We all know where we start, but not where we'll end. Everyone we love will suffer and die, and one day we'll join them. But the relationships we build, the ones that carry us through, make it all worthwhile. Ray and Pete's friendship felt like one of the truest depictions of love I've ever seen on screen. With its layers and themes packed into a tight 1 hour 45, I think The Long Walk is a masterpiece. Maybe the best film I've seen in years, but maybe that's just because of what I brought to it. After the credits rolled, I messaged my friend to recommend it. That night he sent me a video walking into a pub, greeted warmly by our mutual friends, and he wrote, "Friendship, isn't this a thing of beauty?" And I couldn't have put it better myself. Love the show. Big up to the production team. Unnecessary to put that at the end, Craig, but anyway, apart from that, Craig in Glasgow on The Long Walk at number 4.
Well, the thing I'd say to that is I do agree about it's what you bring to it. If when you see The Long Walk, what you take away from it is a celebration of friendship, then I think that speaks very highly of you. For me, the key thing is that those friendships are all couched within the fact that only one person will be alive at the end of this. So all these friendships are necessarily doomed in the immediate and very near future. And that's something which also happens in the Hunger Games to do with any allegiances. They're all in the end going only one way. But I think that's because I went into it looking at it or thinking of it as it played out as a political allegory that seemed horribly contemporary. But I think if you have taken in, your feelings about friendship, and that has been reflected not just by you but by other friends, by the sound of it, then I think that speaks very highly of you and your friends. And bravo.
Number 3 in the UK, number 1 in Canada and America, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Infinity Castle.
Yeah, so I said I would go and see this, and you remember that I reviewed Mugen Train when it came out, and I said at the time, it looked amazing. I didn't think that I was actually up to speed with all of it by any means at all, but I did enjoy watching it. So in the case of this, so it's Japanese anime based on, I'm going to read this because it's based on the Infinity Castle arc of the 2016-2020 manga series Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. This is directed by Haruo Sotozaki, and it is the sequel to the 4th season of the anime television series, as well as the manga 4th, 5th, and 6th adaptations and following the film Mugen Train. Now, you can tell by the way that I'm saying that, even having seen the film, I'm not in any way fit to place it in context, because the only thing I've seen of that before is Mugen Train. But watching this, what I thought was pretty much the same as I thought with Mugen Train. Is it is visually spectacular, even when I wasn't up to speed with the plot. And there is a great deal of plot. I mean, there is some dizzyingly epic plot. It's not a short film. And it is the first in a trilogy that was announced in June 2024, immediately following the airing of the 4th season's finale. And apparently it's grossed 555 million worldwide, highest grossing film of 2025 in Japan, highest grossing Japanese film worldwide, second highest grossing film in the country's history, and 9th highest grossing film of 2025. So has done terrifically well. As I said, from my point of view, I thought as a piece of animation, it was exciting and there was so much stuff going on, but I did feel the same way as I did with Mugen Train. I did then speak to somebody else about this who is much more well-versed in it and said, is it just me, or do you really have to be immersed in this to understand it? And what they said was, it's not where I would start if I was leaping in. Mugen Train is probably more accessible in terms of the plot, but it's not for me. But I enjoyed it as a piece of animation.
And it's number 1 in America, but it's number 3 here. Number 2 here is The Conjuring Last Rites. And number 1 and number 4 in America, Downton Abbey, the grand finale.
Plummy. Super plums. Yeah, I mean, it's Downton Abbey, the grand finale does exactly what it says on the tin. You know all those characters that you like? You know that building you like? You know that stuff you like? Here it is.